So check this out. So these trainer sticks here. Oops, my spring kind of got a little burp burp. Yeah, this is the right hand. I don't have these marked. And so there's all these things that I'm having to combat, to fight against, like thumbs on top, bad habit, bad habit, finger down the stick, bad habit, right, versus turning from the wrist. And so there's all these bad habits that I'm having to combat, right? Combat, fighting, to combat against. And so this stick addresses each of those things. Check this out. So I need to go back to the drawing board on this one, but this right here is meant to keep the fingers down as opposed to popping up, but I can still pop up, so I need to reiterate. This is like the 30th iteration. 31st will be better. So it keeps the fingers down for just doing single strokes as opposed to bounces. And the drummers watching the video will know what I mean. And then another bad habit is this space is open. Drummers play with a space open. Now, the space isn't the problem. What's the problem is that, notice if you look down the barrel of the stick, I only have a finger on the bottom and the top. And I don't have any fingers touching the sides of this circle, we'll say. 4 sides of a circle. I know, it's kind of funny. But if I close off that space, look what just happened. Now my finger had a chance to wrap all the way around, so now I have a full 360 around this. And this is a really big, unwieldy stick, so I want as much control on that as possible, especially at the spot where we grab it. These 2 fingers together, that's called the fulcrum. And so this little flag there, if I shove it into there, then you can come in. Oh, he's got his hands full. And then that's my dad. And so if we hold that little flag in there, then that forces us to keep that space closed, right? Mm-hmm. Pretty cool, huh? And then this pink here, if I'm in playing position and I'm turned over, notice that we don't see any pink right there, but now we do see pink. Thumbs up position, I see pink. Thumbs on the side, I don't see any pink. So the idea is to not see pink. However, I don't need the color anymore because now I have these nubs on the top here. So now I'm forced to turn over. Basically, I'm creating a punishment for doing it wrong. Because then if we hit in that corner, then that's no good. And then I turn my hands, and then it just goes crazy because it's not a perfectly round, smooth, equal on all sides thing. Put that in there. But before I hand you a pair of fancy, stressed out trainer sticks, let's just do some regular drumming. A pair for you, a pair for me. That's my favorite pair, by the way. You're getting the best pair. And the higher pitch the stick, the better. So this one's lower. The higher pitch, the better, because then they're more bouncy. And the bouncier the stick, it's like running with a new pair of sneakers. It's just like, yeah, super satisfying because they're super bouncy. All right, I'm going to teach you the almighty paradiddle. Where's my little, there it is, little notepad. My thing that looks like it's from Mad Max. It used to look really nice because I used faux leather And it looked like something you would buy at the store, but then because I used faux leather, it broke on this hinge. So then I reinforced it with duct tape, so now it looks like something out of the apocalypse. And then I write my notes, and then I put them in there. So I call it an idea harvester, and each one is labeled so that I can, when I photograph these later, I can computerize it sensibly. All right, paradiddle. In fact, since we've established that you're ultra precocious, I'll give you the paradiddle grid, the full-on paradiddle grid. So, paradiddle grid. And just the first one for now, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Do that. Just hit that kitty right there. Satisfying. Good, good. Now, do that again. Hit both these right on that kitty cat there. Good, good. Now, do the reverse of that. That's Mom. Reverse that. Okay. Not literally reverse it, but instead of the diddle, paradiddle. Diddle means it's kind of like the word double. So we have a double right and a double left. So that's the diddle. So what would diddle para be? Diddle para. What would that look like? I know it's a bit of a brain game. That's a reverse paradiddle. Buy that one. Good. And what I really appreciate is that you're taking it slow so that you get it right. And here comes a big life lesson. Never do anything wrong, ever. Don't make any mistakes, ever. All right. That sounds pretty unreasonable, right? Don't make any mistakes, ever. Don't screw anything up, ever, right? That sounds pretty unreasonable to me. However, the balance of that is that whatever we're doing, we get to take it as slow as we want. And in this context, we definitely get to take it slow. So even if you're working on something like crazy, you're like, oh my God, how does that go? Well, you just read the instructions, like, okay, right, okay. And the next one is, even if you have to go that slowly, doesn't matter, as long as you do it right. Because a lot of kids are like, oh, and they just impatiently just slam through it, right? I bet you know some of these kids, right? Totally impatient, right? Some kids in your class who don't have patience to save their life. See, the problem when you do something wrong, especially if you practice something wrong and you repeat the thing wrong, now you're burning a path in your brain that's, your brain is going to adapt to whatever you're doing. I'm like, okay, here's the pattern. If this is the way you practiced, then that's what you're practicing. But then if this is all you were doing for years and years, and then you had a lesson with me, I'm like, oh my God, so many bad habits we have to, undo. So good, practicing it slow. That's a reverse paradiddle. Now, an inverted paradiddle is this one. Right, left, right, left, right, right, left. Slam that one out. Good. And the last one, I don't even know if there's a word for it. I just call it the last one. Slam that out. Yeah, now check it out. So the first paradiddle, the diddle is on 3 and 4, 3 and 4. This is on 1 and 2, 1 and 2. And if this is 3 and 4, and that's 1 and 2, this diddle happens on which numbers? 1, 2, 3, and 4.
The 2 and 3.
2 and 3. Now watch this. The last one is a little bit weird. You tell me, where's the diddle? Where are the doubles happening?
There?
Yes, across the bar line. Good. Now where's the other diddle? Think about this repeating over and over again.
There.
Yes. Are we dealing with a savant here? Close to? Undiagnosed? Diagnosed as if it's a bad thing. All right, I'm not going to inflate your ego too much yet. Good. That's where the diddle is. So, watch this. Here's the first paradiddle. First one. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. 1, 2, double. 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Right, the diddle is on 3 and 4 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 positions. Good. And then the other one, reverse paradiddle. Diddle, paradiddle. The inverted paradiddle is my favorite. Right, left, left, right, left. And the last one is difficult, especially if you add the accent, which I'll tell you in a second. Right, diddle. Now, here's where it gets interesting. And usually with students, the first thing I do is I teach them how to hold a drumstick. I know that, though, with you, you're gonna love the intellectual side of this. So I'll teach you how to hold sticks in just a second. Watch this. This little symbol, that little boop boop. That, I should have left more room on the page. That one, doot doot, doot doot, doot doot, doot doot, doot doot. That little squiggle right there means to accent, and to accent means to do it loud. Do that. So now we get to slow down. No one's watching. There's no judgment. Even if you had to take it this slowly. And the slower we take it, the more time we have to set up a big note. Because watch, the faster I play this, we have a big note and we have a small note. Here's a medium note and a small note. The faster I play it, the less of a chance, the less time I get to come up here and get all the way up and then get all the way down for a big note. So the faster I play it, the more that big note just kind of turns into a medium note. Watch me speed it up. Big, big. There's no way I could play it that fast if I was cranked up all the way here. So the slower we go, the bigger of an accent we get to do. So nice and slow. Try that. Yes. Yeah, good, good. I like that name, Clint.
Flint.
Flint.
Yeah.
I like that name too. Any sort of int name, it's got a your name has a very percussive quality to it. Like Jack. That name is very like Jack. It's very percussive. Versus a name like my sister's name, Melanie. That one's just nice and smooth. Melanie. Like there's nothing hard about it. There's no like edges or corners. There's no right angles in that name. It's just like rolling waves. Melanie, especially since it starts off with a m. So Flint has a very percussive name. Good. So what's the now? Okay. All right. Go home. Memorize that. You probably already have it memorized. Like, look at it through a mathematician's eyes. Like, oh, the diddle happens on 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So now it becomes now there's a little bit more sense to it as opposed to just like a chaotic flurry of rights and lefts. And there's 4 delineations there. So you understand. I'm so used to having to like over-explain things, and with this guy, I'm like, oh yeah, he already knew what I was going to say before I said it, right? So, all right, now I'm going to teach you how to hold a stick. Your hands already kind of look all right, so.
Yeah, I think before I was worse, but what you told me at the start definitely helped.
What did I tell you?
To hold it like this.
Teach me how to hold sticks like this.
No.
How do I do it?
This. So with not thumbs up.
Okay. My thumbs are on the side.
No fingers out.
Okay.
No fingers down.
Mm-hmm. Like that. How about this?
Not like the arms like that. It's more like in the wrist and.
Oh, turn at the wrist. Okay. Oh, I like that. I kind of look like a drummer now. Okay, good. Now, another bad habit that kiddos have is they leave their thumb falls off the stick. And so, yes, the thumb is on the side, but sometimes the kiddos will like put their thumb down here. Now, hold out a finger to me. Your finger is a drumstick. Now, I'm going to go thumb off the stick. Now, this is as hard as I'm grabbing. Feels like nothing, right? This is like, but now, so I've lost all my power. But if I put my thumb on the stick, now I can break your hand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do it. Prove it. It would be possible. Maybe not like straight down pressure on a bone, like I'm gonna break the stick, crushing it. But some damage could be done. I could get you to squeal at the very least. Okay, so thumb on the stick, thumb not on the stick. Yeah, double negative. So thumb on the stick. Then, so why is that no good?
Because you could like fling up.
Why my thumb being off the stick? Why is that no good?
This pressure on the stick.
Yes, I've lost all my strength. I've lost all my power. And for these huge, massive sticks, then it becomes even more exaggerated as to why I need my thumb on that stick to gain power over it. Same is true, though, for even a smaller, dainty stick. Still want a thumb on the stick. Love these bars. ours. This is just, we used to have we used to have a deck out in the backyard. It's made out of redwood. The deck is no longer, but the lumber is still around, and the beefier something is, the more satisfying it is for, a rudimental percussionist to riff on. Like if I was playing on like a trampoline, there's not going to be any bounce on that at all. I mean, the whole thing is bouncy, and you can get your body to bounce, but proportionately, there's just way too much surface area, and then your stick, if you just put your stick in the middle of a trampoline, it's just going to go, puh, it's just going to die. Versus this, where this is super hard and resilient, playing on like a slab of marble, like a piece of stone, oh, that's heavenly. But this is, this material was free for me and easy to cut and to manipulate and to tune. I wouldn't want to deal with stone, and plus stone isn't going to have a nice tone, and these have a nice tonality to it. All right, let's do the bounce. Let's do the one finger bounce. Just drop one of those sticks. Just hang on to one of them. Get the hands undistracted. Now, see how all the paint is worn off the stick? That's, my thumb has just been grinding on that for years. And so right about there is where I hang on to it. So now, but where is that spot? The question is, where do I hold it on the stick? The answer to the question is, well, wherever it bounces the most with a one finger thing. Now, deliberately come way back here. Just give yourself like an inch back there, and now do it. It just dies. Got a little bit of bounce, but nothing even remotely close to the how many bounces, the amount of time sustained for this thing to bounce. Now it stops. So from right here to now. So that amount of time, what was that, like 2 seconds, 3 seconds? Probably not 3. But here, I didn't even get a chance to snap my fingers again because it died so fast. That's a really short amount of time. So wherever the stick bounces for the longest period of time on its own without doing any manipulations, it's just free falling. Now, let's come up a little bit like towards the center of the stick, slightly behind center, and now do it again. It just dies immediately. It's no bueno. So do the thing, and you show me where it bounces the most. Tell me when you think you've found the best.
What about here?
Yeah, bingo, exactly. So where do you hang on to the stick? Where it bounces the most with this simple action. So then, from here, then we can develop our grip. Then the thumb comes down onto it, and then we turn over. And then minus our control fingers, we have the fulcrum fingers. And, okay, all right, smarty pants. A fulcrum is, okay, so a seesaw, right? We have like a triangle, and then we have a board, and then the kids go on either side and go, wee, wee, and the seesaw, right? Mm-hmm. This triangle is the fulcrum. This is teetering on a fulcrum. It's a fancy science word, and drummers think they're fancy by using fancy science words. And so that's a fulcrum. And so the drummer's fulcrum is right. Oop, I got my fancy sticks that are throwing me off. Drummer's fulcrum is right about there. Bingo. Now, Of course, I could play way back here, but I'm having to work so much harder to get that. I want to use the bounce to my advantage. If I'm playing way back here, I don't have any bounce to work with. So now, in order to go 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, I have to go 1 2 1 2 1 2. Like I have to move that fast. My own hands have to move that fast. Like if I was just doing hand drumming. Now don't ask me to go a little bit. Don't ask me to go any faster than that, because I could cheat and do it with my fingers. 1 2 1 2. But I have to move, like my own body has to do that, versus the glory of the bounce. I'm going 1 2 1 2 1 2, but as soon as I crank it up to about right about here, those are all bounces. I'm not moving that fast. There's no way I can move that fast. I'm getting a 1 to 2 ratio. You know about ratios yet? A 1 to 1 ratio, a 1 to 2 ratio.
I think, but I don't know.
Okay, well, you're about to right now. Watch this. This is an example of ratios, which then will demonstrate the whole entire concept of what a ratio is. I move once, I hit once. One action, one hit. 1 to 1 ratio. One movement, 2 hits. 1 to 2 ratio. If you had a bunch of apples and I had a bunch of oranges, but say your apples are worth more than my oranges, and the fair exchange for one of your apples would be 2 of mine, that would be a 1 to 2 ratio. If you had some awesome apples that were like, whoa, from, hand-picked in Fiji or something, then imagine all apples are hand-picked, right? Yeah. And you have fancy apples, but my worthless, my not as valuable oranges, maybe is a 1 apple to 3 oranges, 1 to 3 ratio. So bounces, 1 to 2 ratio. 1 movement, 2 strikes out of it. How many is this?
3.
Yeah, 3. 1 to 3 ratio. 1 to 3 ratio. That's triple roll. Not very good at them. Those would sound better if I had super hard sticks, like direct to wood, as opposed to me putting this rubber stuff on it. And if it was this is kind of bouncy and loose. Like I could play triples a little bit better if I came down and hit this piece of wood here. Yeah, it's got a higher clarity as opposed to on here. 1 to 3 ratio. How many is this?
1 to 4.
Yeah, bingo. 1 to 4 ratio. So those are ratios. Try this. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's do this. 2 hands, 4 fingers, and now just do this. Yeah. Find the fulcrum again. Where does it bounce the most? Visually I can just see that you're you're choked back a little bit. So choke up a little bit more. Yeah, right about there. Now notice that this, just like this, is pure bounce. This is definitely not bouncing it. I have full manipulation on it. Definitely no bounce. And that freedom for the stick to move like that is the same kind of freedom we want to establish here. So now, going from both hands, now just go to one hand, but hold it right at the precipice of your fingers, right at the tips. See what I'm doing there? I got a little lobster claw going on. Yeah, now, and now pinch a little bit tighter. Get a strong hand going. Speaking of strong hands, that'll be my reminder for later. Oh yeah, we're gonna get a measurement. He better have I better have a bigger number next week. Your task is to get strong, by the way. I don't care about paradiddles. I just want you to get a little bit stronger. And my high schoolers, I have 2 high schoolers that show up. They're both from the Paso Robles drumline. And we're doing a little bit more advanced stuff, naturally. But what I'm asking them to do, they're not able to do it merely because they're just weak. They just don't have, they don't have muscles. They don't have the pinch strength there. The alligator supposedly has the strongest bite. Like if you were in the jaws of an alligator, you ain't getting out, even if you were full-on adult and 3 times the size you are now. Arnold Schwarzenegger ain't getting out, even from a small alligator. There's no way you could open that. So, crazy strong, and maybe like a lion bite might be next, or an elephant probably. So we have an alligator pinch, and it's between the thumb and the finger. So if you can only do, well, no, it's not true. I was gonna say if you can only do one exercise, it would be like rah rah rah, getting you guys have grip strength things at home? Yeah.
My other drum teacher told me about a thing where a bundled up piece of paper even works for hand strength.
Oh sure. Yeah. Anything to resist closing, and especially resisting the thumb down pressure, or rather the thumb to the side, the thumb into the finger, the thumb into. Basically, it's just this. Shove your thumb into the center digit of your index, and just that. If there was an exercise on that, then that would be the one to do. However, you could just do a bunch of squats and inadvertently get your hand strong because you were working out the biggest muscles of your body. That's a whole nother conversation. Okay, so do this again. And really, really try to just squeeze down. In fact, squeeze as hard as you can, and then do that in the. Okay, yeah. See how you're okay. This is no bueno, not because of a weak hand, but because you've choked back too much. In fact, I think I might have some sticks that. Oh, I do. Here's another little invention thing that I prototyping. Instead of doing this, which I'll teach you in a moment, I already have a stick back there, because the idea is for this to be straight. Not this, but for the stick to be in the same straightness with the forearm. So if I have that reminder back there hitting the thing that I'm trying to align with, then we're good. So, but for now, I just want to give you some basic sticks. I have like a whole spectrum of trainer sticks. This is like the full trainer stick, but I'll just give you a partial trainer stick, just to give you a spot for your thumb to go that's indicated. Back to the drawing table on that, right there. So I'll trade you. Let's do these for now, so you have a clear thumb spot. Okay, so now from the tips, squeeze hard enough to be able to do this. Like, brrr. Ah, yes. Ah, good. Okay, now come out to the tips of the fingers. It's going to be weird because, you know, your hand is small and not as strong as mine, and these sticks are huge, but as best you can, at the tips of the fingers, and the reason why the tips is because this will only be and can only be a bounce. Like, I'm not doing anything with my body. That is just pure bounce. But then notice that when I even just not having any thumb on it at all, like it takes a really long time. So now, pinching here, see if you can go down to the same thing, but have it, like, put a lot of pressure in that with just the tips, though. Yeah, that's what a bouncing stick does. That's a stick bouncing. Now, of course, we're never going to play like this with our fingers. That would be silly and completely useless. But for the sake of getting the feel of what this stick wants to bounce. And so by doing things like this and this and this gives us a feel for what this wants to do naturally. And the main thing, I'll even write this down for you. Although I have a friend that disagrees, and I'll let the stick do all the work. Now, I could argue both sides of this debate. I have a friend who's a drummer. I used to teach the Pastor Robles drum line a long time ago. And he was my student, and now he's like, you know, a man. He's 30 years old, and now we're buddies, which is cool. What's been nice being back in town is I'm reaping all of the fruits that I planted seeds for, you know, when I was a teenager. I'm so glad I wasn't a jerk, right? It's good to be a good dude because, you know, when you're 43, you bump into someone and be like, oh, hey, I remember you, Flint. And they'll look upon you fondly. Okay, let the stick do all the work. So my friend, my buddy, who's a drummer, he's a good drummer too, and so I respect what he says. He loves small sticks. And the reason why I advocate for big sticks, especially in the beginning, especially for the sake of getting kids to like understand how these things bounce and all, is because the heavier the stick, like the more it does, the more it has its own weight. And I'm just sitting back guiding this and letting this do what it wants to do. Like if I do this, the stick wants to go 1, 2, 1, 2 if I hold my hand in a certain position, in a certain tension. It wants to do that. Now, if I held it back here, now it's not, now it wants to do something else because I'm holding it differently. So by letting the stick do all the work for you, what that mindset, it'll I've really been thinking about this one, especially back and forth with my buddy. Letting the stick do all the work for you. Basically, these things have weight to it, especially these big sticks, and your job is just to allow the stick to do what it wants to do, as opposed to controlling every little thing. If this thing wants to bounce, like it's bouncing all on its own, me just dropping it, so there's like a natural bounce to this, as opposed to like a wet noodle. If I drop that, it's just gonna go, it's not gonna bounce at all. So this is like the opposite of a wet noodle. Boom, 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 boom. Letting the stick, I'm guiding the stick. I'm not doing the drumming, the stick is doing the drumming. Okay. So now, instead of way at the tips, now come in a little bit, and now we'll start to assimilate, we'll start to develop our grip here. So come and see how much you can wrap your finger all the way around. And then notice, and then actually open and close that. And notice that when you do open and close that space, when it's open like this, so open it all the way like this, yeah, to have space in between there. So when there's a space there, you don't have side control of the stick. You only got top and bottom. So now close off that space. It's not necessarily that you're closing off that space, it's that you're wrapping the finger around it, you know. Not wrapped, wrapped, not wrapped, wrapped. Okay, so now, in this position, with fingers fanned out for now, we'll get to these. Now, okay, now grip a little harder. And now just press. Like, really pinch onto that thing. That was a good one. Do it again. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Everything is weird your first time, but you're doing fine, by the way. Left hand. Fingers fanned out for now. And then shove that in your left hand. Okay, now do both together. Okay, now, thumbs on top, thumbs on the side. Yeah, play with that. Okay.
Like this?
Yeah, playing with the letting the stick letting the stick bounce the way it wants to. So we have that concept. Okay, so now do this. Do everything I just did perfectly. All right. So check this out. The first thing we don't want to do is hold it too far down, especially with these huge long sticks, because then you're going to hit your elbow. I don't want to hit my elbow. So come to the spot, like feel your elbow bone right there, like, and then just have the stick be just shy of that to grab as much stick as possible down here before it whacks in your elbow, which is painful. Okay. So now turn over, and okay, let's break it down like this. And we don't have to do anything. We're just going to come into space here. So now do a death grip with your fingers, like just squeeze the heck out of this thing with a good playing position with your thumb on the stick. And now just turn at the wrist while having fingers fully wrapped around. Yes. And then the back of the stick hits your arm. Because, right, if our objective is to have this be straight as we play, then if we do this, which is a simulation of actually playing, it translates. It's just a spectrum here. So we can hit both, hitting the back of my arm and the thing, but we'll get to that. Okay, good. Do it with the left hand. Squeeze with the fingers and just turn at the wrist only. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good, dude. Right off the bat, I mean, it looks like an atrocity right now, relatively speaking, to my ability to do it and other drummers. But relative to other kiddos that do this, this is what most kids look like when they first try to do it. So good. Although this is, you've had other drum lessons, but have you had another lesson before?
Not really lesson. It's more like what we have is learning rhythms.
Okay, so you've never had a stick in hand, movements.
We don't really do sticks a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's the easier thing to do. I taught a class today, and all we had was hand drums, and I don't have enough sticks to go around. Although at the end of the class, I let them just jump into my stick bag and bang on whatever they want. Okay, good. So the stroke, this is me stroking. This is a stroke. This is a double stroke. This is a triple stroke. So stroke is the word. And so the stroke has two components. It's got the wrist, but it's also got the fingers. So now from here, the second element, instead of the wrist turning, now the wrist is going to stay stationary, but now you're just going to open your hand. You're just going to open your fingers. Yeah. Now it's just a finger thing. Hold it horizontal with, the earth, and then just drop it 90 degrees. And then close the hand. Do it with both hands. Yeah, you're definitely right-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, my left hand is always just gonna be a tragedy. Left hand. I mean, it looks like I don't have a problem with my left hand, but I do. Okay. There's that was, it seemed pretty even, but my left hand is just having to work twice as hard to keep up with just the Speedy Gonzalez right hand. Right hand can do, anything, but the left hand is like, wait up, guy. Left hand is always struggling, which is just the cross to bear. Okay, so wrist turns, finger turns. Now, watch this. Wrist and fingers. Now this is going to feel a little bit weird because so now if you turn down like this, and now you can turn your wrist. So just do one stick, just drop the other. And come do this. And now turn at the wrist.
Nope, wrist.
Yeah, turn the wrist. And now open your hand too. Yeah, bingo. Now what that looks like in normal playing position is now you're cranked all the way back for a huge, massive stroke. Watch this. Here's the breakdown. Wrist, fingers. Now, it's not going to come all the way back. It's not actually going to like touch my arm, although that's a good exercise to do this. In fact, try this. This is kind of fun. Hold at the middle of the stick, and you're going to hit the back of the stick is going to hit the bottom of your arm, and then the front part of the stick is going to hit the top of your arm. Something I've ever practiced, but it is a good thing to do in theory. All these techniques, I developed them myself. I wasn't taught much. I was taught enough to like get myself off to the races and be self-propelling, but all of these things, all of this, no one ever showed me this. Like I had to just think of that on my own. So these aren't I've never practiced this ever. I mean, I could just instantly do it because my hand is already strong and I have an understanding of this. Like, this is the first trainer stick to ever exist on the whole planet. You're looking at a future millionaire right here. So none of these things I had. So even though that it is doable, but I've never really even done them. But I can see that it is a viable thing. And we don't even have to be worried about finger position, all that. Really just like the hinge here is what we're looking for. Yeah. But this is the almighty. And then to do it with wrists only, fingers only, and then both. And then in this flat position, we can kind of like throw it out. Throw it out and like keep it there. Yeah, exactly. Your wrist is turned and the fingers have flown out. But now in the regular playing position, whack! Yeah, exactly. Now, from here, in fact, just do what I'm doing. Oh, there it is. Yes, good. Now, okay, do this. Notice my wrist isn't moving at all. Maybe it's kind of wiggling around a bit. Yes. That's satisfying. Now see if you can dribble it like you're dribbling a basketball. Choke back a little bit. And you want wherever this thumb spot is, wherever you're hanging onto it, it just so happens to be between the index and the middle. Yeah. You're choked. There you go. Yeah, there you go. And really wrap the middle, ring, and pinky around this. Think of these three fingers as one finger. Drummers have two fingers. We have that finger and this finger. Do that. Is this the Spock one? No, that's the Spock one. So we have a variation. Yeah, this finger, two fingers only. For now, we'll get into the subtleties later. So just to focus on your control fingers, fulcrum fingers, control fingers, or fulcrum finger, control finger, all this together. Just wrap all three around. And hit right in the middle. Just start dribbling that thing as fast as you can. Go for it. Yeah, just let me see how fast you can do that. A true dribble though. Yes, good. This is what most kids do. They're not throwing it down fast enough. because the faster I throw this thing down, the faster it comes back up, or that it will come back up. If I only did this, like it's not. I want it to to return to the original like. If I want it to return each time, then I got to throw it down fast enough to get it to fling back on me, to bounce back on me, to then prep myself for another one. So good. You instantly have a feel for how fast that needs to go to dribble this thing. Drummers are stick dribblers. That's another good one to write down, which I came up with at the festival we met at. A Cal Poly kid came up. He's a runner. He's on like the running team, so he's fit and very, very strong, and he was super smart and friendly, which is always a joy. And while developing language to teach, he was interesting because he was a non-drummer, non-musician, although no, he actually did play violin when he was a kid. So he had a sense of musicality to begin with, but he never picked up a stick ever before. But he was smart and his body worked and it was strong. So he was an interesting one to work with. And what came out of my mouth was drummers are stick dribblers. Dribblers. This is your little book. So good. You are dribbling the stick. Good. Try it with here. Try it now between middle and ring, and now just dribble with your back two fingers. All right. Now here. Now just dribble with just the pinky. And make sure it's at the fulcrum, because now you have no, see this? This has no chance because you're not at the fulcrum. Good catch. Yes! Oh, instantly. Okay, now bounce a little bit faster. With just the pinky. Notice I'm not turning my wrist. I'm just closing my pinky. And I'm flinging it down fast enough to where it bounces right back up on me. Kicks up. Yeah, notice where your fulcrum is. It's abandoned. Yeah, there you go. Now you have a fighting chance. All right, see what that feels like all the way back here. Do that. See how that's just like there's no, it feels terrible. It's actually kind of painful too.
No bounce.
Yeah, this is no bounce at all. And it's actually kind of painful because now the stick is like fighting against you. Okay, now back to these two. Good, now these three. Now, put your fulcrum on there and do nothing different. Oh, wow, you're either a genius or I am. I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both. Good. We'll just go with you're the smart one. All right. To feign humility. All right. Feign means to fake. You know what humility is? You know that word? To be humble?
Yeah.
What does it mean for someone to be humble?
To not be as brag. Not brag.
Someone who's not braggadocious, yeah. Someone who knows how much they don't know, and they're okay with it, and they've got nothing to prove, right? So good. That's humility. That's someone who's humble, someone who has humility. They're set. That's like the number one trait. If someone could only be one thing, they could be humble. But then if they're humble, then they're everything else. Then they're nice, then they're pleasant, then they're, charitable. So it's the Almighty. And the opposite of that is pride. Good. Hot shot. All right, developed it with the left hand. Pinky on the fulcrum, left hand. Left hand. Yeah, I get it. I understand. Yeah, okay. Make a fist, because now, like, that'll be a lot stronger. You just kind of like wave it around and feel that strength. And then you can turn your wrist so you're not going to open the finger, because then it's really weak. But if you just like make a Mike Tyson fist. You know who Mike Tyson is?
No.
He's the greatest boxer of all time. You put your lights out in 2 seconds. Go home and watch the Mike Tyson videos. In fact, I'm going to mention Mike Tyson multiple times throughout the lessons, so if you know the reference, then I want to explain it.
There's a video game.
Okay.
Oh, there was a video game, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but then he bit off someone's ear and then, he bit off, what's that guy's name? Vanderfield? That's totally not right. Holy Vanderfield? Yeah. Very violent guy, but very likable. He's turned into a big teddy bear now that he's old. Mike Tyson. And there used to be an old Nintendo video game called Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but then he got in trouble with the law because he's a kind of a violent guy in and out of the ring, yeah. And then Nintendo was like, oh yeah, we don't want any association with Mike Tyson, so they just called it Punch Out. Mike Tyson, go home and watch some videos. So make a Mike Tyson fist, shove your thing in there, and with your left hand, at the fulcrum. Yeah, scoot up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, and now transition to just see if you can no wrist. Yes. All right, that's close. Go home and work on that. Here's the thing. Your right hand is your right hand. Your right hand is just going to be great at everything, relatively speaking. So whatever you do, whatever you're working on, have your right hand get it down, and then have your right hand teach it to your left. And in fact, my right hand is be like, okay, I got that down. And then instead of working on the left independently, alone, like this, just go straight to both. Straight to both. So that your left hand has something to compare it to. Now find your fulcrum. Okay, yeah, you had it there. I wasn't looking at it right. Now turn your hand over and do that too. Do it with just your right hand. Yeah, now you're doing this because this is clumsy. So do it with your left hand, or do it with your right hand. And notice, like, you can look at your arm, you can register, like, how does that feel? And then, as you do it with the left, both, then you have, let your right hand teach your left hand to do it. Now, no arm. Just do a few dribbles with just the right hand. A little bit faster. So start up here and like wham. Yeah. Now, without changing anything in the right hand, try to get your left hand rocking. Now you've gone to thumbs up position. Okay, I know, pinky's torture. Now come up to here, in between the ring and middle. Okay, work on that. Go straight to your one finger, right? Your 3-finger finger. Now, just take that slow. Start from here. Start in the up position, and just do this. Just do it once. Yeah, and notice that when I'm down, my thumbs are on the side. So from here, I just go up. Yeah. Now see if you can get them to hit at the same time. Wham!
I can if I'm using like this.
Oh sure, but that's not what we're doing. We're doing this. Okay, all right. You get the idea. Now come to this. And just give me some double stops. Double stops is both together. Now, come, stand up for a second. I'm going to scoot you a little bit closer. All right, about there. Okay. Yeah, the distance away from your plane surface totally matters. Like if I'm up here, then I got nowhere to go. But if I'm right about here, basically if your elbow is parallel, is at your side, like is my elbow next to my side?
No.
No. How about now?
No.
No. How about now? Yeah, basically this part of your arm, you have two parts of your arm. You have this part and this part, separated by the elbow. If this is straight down, then we're good. If you're now, of course, when we're playing a drum set, we're reaching all the time and maybe coming back on a few things. But the standard position for just playing on one thing, like the snare drum there I would want my snare drum to be at the spot, like you build your setup position based on, okay, you get your stool, you're sitting down. Okay, this is where I sit. And then you put your snare drum, the main, that main little black one there, like wherever this is. You wouldn't want to have it way out here or way up here. You would want it in the position where your forearm and what's this called?
Upper arm.
Yeah, what's the opposite of fore? This part of your arm. Upper, we'll call it. In fact, do a few of these. Do some double stops, and then way up here, and then you can get closer. Yeah, so right about there, right where this. He needs my little kids need like a foot thing to be on. That's weird. If I'm on the edge and my feet are dangling, yeah, then I'm gonna get in a weird posture. But if I had something there, yeah, so we'll talk about posture later. I'll build a little step stool. I built all of this. This is, it's pretty cool, isn't it? This is just the same thing as this, except I painted this one. And these stack. Like I can pull these out, and like my high schooler dude, He's really tall. He's already like 6 feet tall, and he's like 15 years old. I take one of these out. I pull one of them out on his side, so he becomes shorter, because he's like way up here. So I have to lower him to where now, because if I'm way up here and I'm playing, and my surface, now I got nowhere to go. Now if I turn my wrist, now I got nowhere to go. But notice my arm is almost like perpendicular to the playing surface. That means I got nowhere to go. But if my arm is parallel, what does parallel mean? What is parallel? Are these sticks parallel?
No.
How about now?
No.
How about now?
No.
How about now?
Yeah.
Yep. And the opposite of parallel is?
Perpendicular?
There we go. Oh boy. What's your dad do for a living?
Like he's a
Rocket scientist?
No, he codes stuff.
And you?
Veterinary technician.
Yeah. You got some good genes, buddy. Okay. Double stops, by the way. So drummers have borrowed the science word fulcrum, and drummers have also borrowed the word double stops. In the violin world, there are how many strings on a violin?
4.
4. Now I can do ba 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 ba. But if I can also bow 2 at the same time. Ba da da da. Like I can bow 2 at the same time. Violinists, string players call that a double stop. Drummers use that word to mean both at the same time. These are double stops. Now, show me what you think is the most perfect position of the right hand. Now have the left match that. Have the left hand instantly be not dumb. Instantly have the right hand teach the left hand. Have your right hand show the left hand what to do. And then just do it. Magically. And the more you scrunch up your face, the less it's going to work. Relax. Okay, now, check this out. I have a torture device that I just devised. Mwahaha.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Get ready. You should be shaking. Yeah. All right, 6 down. This comes off. Yeah. All right. Is that going to go all the way around? Okay, good.
I see.
You see what? What are we doing with this? What?
Straightening the wrist. I don't know.
You,
Whatever.
you'll see. Watch this. Hold your hands about a foot apart. Yeah, okay. Let's do this. In fact, I'll just put this on there. And then I'll mold you to a good position. Okay. I need to cut this bar. It's too long. But I can extend it and shorten it here, but I think this might be a little bit too. Oh. Yeah, this is a little bit too wide for you. But we'll get the idea across. All right, here's another thing I have to combat against. Drummers put their thumbs on top, drummers put their thumbs on the side, their thumbs fall off the stick, drummers go out for tea with their pinkies, but drummers also, okay, and this is, remember what this is called? French and German and French. French grip, German grip. And in the French grip, the hands are close together. Guess what you don't get to do now with this apparatus? Your hands don't get to go together at all. They are forced to be separate. So now, as a result, yeah, I need to cut this for my shorter kids, or my smaller kids. Okay, now do some double stops. Actually, let me turn that. Now hit in the center. Yeah, it's just barely too long, but that actually looks pretty good. Yeah, you've got a good strong base here. Oh, you want to see some real torture? All right.
I'm scared.
You should be.
Oh, this part came off.
Oh, we'll get it. We'll get it back.
That is heavy.
Yeah, I have another one too. I can put both of them on there.
I
Now do some double stops. Yeah. Doesn't it instantly looks better. Instantly looks better. Not because of the weight, but because of this bar to begin with. Now, the only reason why I would have a weight there, I thought about putting a weight here because my high school gal student, she's just has no muscles whatsoever. So I added a little bit of weight for her to use this. And then the stronger these shoulder muscles get, the more steady our arms can be, and therefore the more consistent we can be. Yeah, do some double stops.
It came in.
Yeah. Now hit both in the center. Yeah. Now, I'm going to take this away, but don't change anything. In fact, we can just slip it out. Yeah. The distance between your hands matters. This is a factor. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now, in this position, in that same position, now do some arm hits. As if you were here, but then, okay, do this. Hands apart, yeah. And now just scoot your hands back. And now instead of hitting out here, you're just hitting the backs of your arms. Yeah, and now you're hitting your elbow, right? So scoot right about there. Yeah, exactly. All right, come up to the middle of the stick, and now hit both at the same time. You're gonna hit the bar and your arm at the same time. Yeah. Now come to what you think is a good playing position. Distance between the hands. And hit back of your arm and the thing at the same time. Come up to about the center of the stick. And now hit both at the same time. Yeah. The progress that you made in an hour. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good, buddy. All right. That's the last thing we're going to do. I'll let you guys go. What grade are you in? Fourth?
Fifth grade.
Fifth grade? Do they have, like, mountains of homework at this age yet? When you do have homework, do you just, like, look at it and it's done?
If it's math.
Yeah.
what's the subject that you just breathe right through?
Math.
Math, yeah. Big surprise. And what's the one that just like, oh, good?
Mostly history.
Reading, writing,
Yeah, history.
history.
History is, ugh.
Well, here's the thing about history. When you hit 30, how old are you now? You're 9, 10?
10.
You're 10, that's right. I did the math. I was just with a 9-year-old a few hours ago, and I said, when you're 30, in 252 months from now, thinking about it in terms of months makes it much more tangible. So, okay. All right, so that's in 240 months, you're going to be 30 years old. Right? He's already 10. He was just a little, you could just hold him in your hand a moment ago and look at him. He's like, chung, chung, chung. Yeah. So in 240 months from now, in 20 years, times 12, 240, you'll be 30. And when you hit 30 and beyond, then you're going to have like an inherent interest in history. Like, Hitler did what? Because the older you get and the more you roll around in life and in reality, the more history like makes sense for why you should know about it. As a 10-year-old, you're like, I don't care what Hitler did. Like, there's no, you don't have a reason to care. But the older you get and the more like politically minded you get and the more you start to observe human nature and become interested in it inherently, then history will make a lot more sense. So when I was a kid, I'm like, history, what? But now that I'm like stepped into life a little bit more, I go into YouTube and I watch history videos for fun. Because it's interesting, because it's like relevant, because what humans did before, they will do in the future again. History repeats itself. That's a history cliche. So if you know what humans did before, then you know what they're going to do tomorrow or the next year or the next decade or a century from now, and then you can better position yourself in life to make wise decisions. Basically, you're learning from the mistakes of people before you. That's what history is. Learning the lessons that people in the past in those history books had to learn the hard way, and you're going to like learn their lessons and be like, oh, okay, don't do that. Don't become a maniacal megalomaniac cult leader and genocide a bunch of people. Genocide? That's a noun. What's the verb form of genocide?
To commit genocide.
Sure. So the more you study Hitler, say, the more you're prepared to be a Hitler yourself or to prevent yourself from being Hitler, right? I know. Hey. I'm dealing with someone who's highly intelligent over here.
Yes, but Hitler?
It's just a dramatic example. But he doesn't like history, so I have to make it a little bit more spicy for him to like tap into what we're saying here. The lesson is done. We're just capping it off. Peanut gallery, thank you very much. So, history will get interesting later. So just try to soak up as much as if you can now. And you'll be glad that you paid attention now when, in 240 months from now. It'll make a lot more sense, trust me. I get you on the history thing. For me, reading and writing was my thing. Math I was pretty good at. Probably not as good as you, but definitely the math thing was more of a comfort zone for me, for sure. Okay. Last thing. Watch me do this. I put some double-sided tape there so my hand doesn't slip against this thing. And I'm going to squeeze down on that. See, 12 pounds, 25 pounds, 40 pounds. And I'm going to squeeze this thing. And I'm going to like slowly squeeze it to make sure my hand is like comfortable. And then I'm going to crush down. And so my record so far is 129, 121. That's not too bad. And I wasn't really in the right position to do it. If you have your hand down, it seems to be feels a little bit stronger to have a thumb's arm down. So just squeeze on that thing slowly, and right about 80% of your squeeze, then just go, and then squeeze down on it really hard. Right hand. And then once you think you've maxed it out,
I think that's about as far as it.
okay, then let go. Yeah, 37. All right. In fact, there's a chart on the back here. So for a 10-year-old, we'll just round up to 40. We'll call that 40, especially since it's your first time. So for the 10 to 11-year-old, yeah, you're in the normal range. The normal range for a 10-year-old is, 27 to 50. So you got 40 on there. Try it again. And then right before you really squeeze down, take a big breath and just exhale. And as you exhale, try it again. 33. Whoops. Look at that face. Okay, good. So we're gonna create. So this is Logan. This is Leslie. Logan got 120 and in his left hand. Okay, now do it with your left hand. Nice and slow, and then go when you're ready to go. So much for exhaling. What do you got there?
30.
All right. It's not too bad. It's relatively speaking to the left hand. Okay, so now we got Flint. And what's today's date? 29. 1, 29, 24. Right hand was 37, and the left hand was 30, which is to be expected. All right. Next week, those numbers better be more. And inevitably, this is your first time. It's kind of awkward. You'll get used to it for next time. So I'll put you right here. You can join the ranks. And next week, see if you can bust out 40 and like 35 in the left hand. So this week, maybe squeeze some stuff. Sure, a ball of paper, the hand squeezy things that you guys might have at the house. Some push-ups, some. If you hang on a bar, even if you just hang there, that'll strengthen your hands. And then if you try to, you can do a pull-up, you can do a chin-up. Try these things. It's not too early for a 10-year-old to start.
He does it on the stairs.
Good. Yeah, even if you just hung there, your hang time. Ooh, what you can do, like this is a measurement of strength. Another measurement of strength you can do is just see how long you can hold. Like, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and then your hands are just gonna let go. naturally when they fatigue too much. Yeah, see, like time yourself, see how long you can hang there, and then see if the next week you can hang even longer. So, paradiddle grid, adding the loud note to each one, and because check this out, the accent it makes all the difference. Because look, paradiddle, paradiddle. So there's paradiddles in each one of these, but it's all based on the frame of reference to where the one is and where the accent is. So having the difference between big notes and small notes throughout these patterns, which is why the last one is the most difficult, because then you're going left, left, small, big. And to go big, small, that's super easy. But to go small, big, now it's like, whoa, now I gotta really move fast. So paradiddle grid, work on that. That'll be a good math brain game for you. Let the stick do all the work for you. Drummers are stick dribblers. Mike Tyson. Go home, watch the Mike Tyson videos. Your mind is gonna be blown. I've never seen any other human transfer that amount of force into something via his own body. There you go, sir. Did I turn that into another almost? Yeah. I'm trying to get these down to 1 hour, but especially in the first lesson, I'm compelled to just kind of, especially with someone this precocious. I'm down to stay till midnight if you want to keep on going.
It is a school night. So you would stay.
We'll whittle it down in time, since you guys have lives. But yeah, I think the very first drum lesson I ever did was here in this living room when I was 14. When I was 14, I gave my first drum lesson, and his name was Randall. He was on the football team, and he expressed a vague interest in drums, like, "Oh, come on to my house, I'll give you a drum lesson." And he gave me $5. This was my first professional lesson, and I have no idea what the clock said, because I don't really care. I just with the student, no matter how long it takes. It must have been like a 3 or 4 hour lesson, because his eyes were like glazed over, and he couldn't like remember how to talk anymore. So I've been slowly trying to like whittle it back in the amount of time, which then forces me to make the instruction more focused and pointed. Word. That's pretty good, man. That what you showed me, and just that's pretty good. And we even have proof of it. Say hi to your 30-year-old self. Soprano voice and everything. Yeah. So your 30-year-old self just did a pretty hearty laugh just now. Yeah. That's pretty mind-blowing to think about, isn't it? It's documented. I mean, this is going to be on the internet, and the internet is forever, If your dad keeps coding right, then the internet will be there forever. So, yeah. All right, buddy.
You ready to go?
Good job.
What do we owe you for today?
I dig it. So, the website says 50% off first lesson, so, do you want to I'll kill the video.